So in the previous class, I was explaining about the strings, right? So next, I'm jumping into the important concept that is built-in data types. So basically, we have a 4 built-in data types in Python. First one, list. Second one, set. Third one, tuple. And fourth one, dictionaries. So list, set, tuple, and dictionaries. These are the built-in data types under uh, Python. And these are very, very important. So you have to understand how the data will store. These 4 built-in data types will give you a picture how we are going to store the data. So let me talk about the list now. So list is used to store multiple items in a single variable. So list is one of the 4 built-in data types in Python used to store collection of data. So basically we have to uh, use square brackets to store the data using list. It's very important. Square brackets. So whenever you are going to insert data inside of the square brackets, you have to identify that's a list. So basic introduction to list is, a list is a built-in mutable data type in Python that allows storing multiple items in a single variable. See, we already familiar with a word called arrays, right? Array is nothing but collection of similar data items under a single variable. Their collection of similar data items. But here I am talking about you can store multiple items in a single variable. And list can hold elements of different types such as integer, float, strings, and even other lists. See, please, you have to understand the difference between arrays and list. Both will give you the same point. We are using it for the storing of the data. But if you observe the definition of the arrays, you can store only similar data items. Those are called homogeneous items. But here you can hold elements of different data types. So no need to worry about data types here in the list. So that's the advantage of Python list. Using C arrays, you can't store multiple data. So let me give you the clarity. So just look at the screen. I'm talking about the arrays in C. Collection of similar data items under a single name. Here name of the array is A. You can store either all numbers or all float values 1.2, 2.2, 3.2, 4.2, or all alphabets or all string values. But that's a disadvantage, right? In case if I want to store one student record, that means student will have roll number and mobile number, name, grade. So different data types I need. So I want to store one student record like this. I want to store his roll number, let's say 1, and his name, let's say John, and his grade A. And he got marks in 2 subjects like 30, 29.2, for example. So if you observe, 1 is the integer value. John is a string value. Grade A is the character. First subject marks 30, that's integer. 29.2, that's a float value. So if you observe here, I want to store different data items in a single variable. But array does not support this concept. You're already familiar with that concept, right? Arrays will support only the same data elements in all the memory locations. So arrays does not support this multiple data element storage, whereas list supports. So again, I'm repeating the step. List is a built-in mutable data type in Python that allows storing multiple items in a single variable. It can hold elements of different data types such as integer, string, character, float, and so on. And even other list items also it can store. So the main characteristics of a list. Elements in a list maintain in a defined order. You can also simply use ordered items. Characteristics of a list is ordered elements. You can maintain a ordered element sequence. And I used a word called mutable, right? Mutable list is a mutable data type in Python. I used this word, right? Mutable. So what is the mutable? List can be modified. Mutable means you can add or remove or change the element. You can change the elements. Mutable means those are flexible. Elements are flexible, right? So here I'm noting down the characteristics of list, ordered elements, next mutable, next list allows duplicates, and as I mentioned, list can hold elements of different type. So different type means we can simply call it as heterogeneous items. Homogeneous supported in arrays, we used a word called homogeneous. Homogeneous means same data types. Heterogeneous means different data types. Next characteristic, that is indexed. The elements can be accessed using zero-based indexing. I mean to say indexing will start from 0 to n minus 1. So first character is ordered. Elements in a list maintain a defined sequence. Second characteristic of a list is mutable. List can be modified, add, remove, or change elements. You can edit the values. And third characteristics of a list is it will allow the duplicates. That means list can have duplicate values. And heterogeneous means can store different type of data in the same list. Fifth characteristic of a list is indexed. Elements can be accessed using zero-based indexing. So that's the basic concept of list. Let's see how to create a list. So I already mentioned that lists are defined using square brackets and it can hold multiple values separated by a comma. So now I'm going to create one list. List is equal to here. I'm just placing, just a minute. L is equal to, here I'm using square brackets. Now, I just want to check the type of L. So I already explained the use of type method, right? The usage of the type method. The type